Yo, it's me, OGDuffy, we are back with a versus video. Oh yes, we look at an old arcade game from yesteryear and we look at the home conversions from it from the day. Because back then, when we had our home computers and our home consoles, etc., we used to get really excited about certain games being released from the arcade onto the home systems. But quite often, our dreams were shattered. Oh yes, because we were expecting the arcade experience at home. Sometimes we got it, sometimes we didn't. And that's what makes these versus videos such fun. This week's versus video is Sly Spy. It was recommended by Alcon. He watches the channel, so thank you, Alcon, my friend. This one is for you. So without further ado, let's get into it. Let's go take a look at the arcade version first, and then we'll dive in to the home conversions, and then at the very end I'll give you my verdict, which I think is best and why. So without further ado, let's get into it. Sly Spy. Okay, Sly Spy by Data East, 1989.
Welcome, agent.
You choose your code, because you are a spy after all. Let's go for 045. Yeah, that's my secret spy code. Now, this is not a James Bond game officially, but there are several references that make it very Bond-like. For example, some of the villains are very recognisable from Bond films, although they're not official. For example, Jaws, Odd Job, they all feature, but not in their carnations of 007. Anyway, you work your way through several levels. It's not a bad little game as it goes. Colourful, bright. These sort of level bits remind me a bit of Rolling Thunder and stuff, you know. You get extra bullets, extra ammo, and I think if you can get enough power-ups, you can get a golden gun, as referenced there. So the golden gun being, of course, very James Bond referenced itself, isn't it, really? So, yeah, there we go.
Great job.
Great job, thank you. Want to see how Damage Leader is escaping by car. Right, so next level now, we are on a motorbike. So we've skydove, we've had a run along and shot some people. You have to bend over or lean to get the power-up bullets and stuff. You can wheelie and shoot up at that angle. Like him, we got him. Of course, you've got to dodge their bullets by lean again. You can move your motorcycle some directions, not an awful lot though. Only a slight movement up to that point. Don't know why, but hey, it is what it is. Oh, that grenade hit us. But what I like about these Data East games is quite often they always make a reference to sort of Karnov and their other games and stuff. And I know there is a section on this game where you come across sort of, some billboards, sort of advertising boards in game. And one of them's for Bad Dudes versus Dragon Ninja. Obviously their logo going on there as well. And there's some Karnov references as well. He seems to get everywhere, doesn't he, that Karnov? There we go, extra bullets. But all in all, it's not a bad game, to be fair. Right, made it to the car. Got 2 or 3 villains that poke their head out. Him with a rocket launcher. I think we've done it. That's it. First little section done. Next level, I think, is a ship. Yep, we're off to the harbour. So as you can see, as a game, it's very colourful, lovely bright graphics, good sound, and all in all, it's a good fun game. But how did it fare on the home systems? Let's go take a look at the 16-bit versions first.
On the surface of things, this Commodore Amiga version looks a very impressive conversion indeed. Graphically it looks good, and there's some great in-game music as well, but this conversion, right, it struggles in the gameplay. It feels clunky, has poor collision detection, And it's a real shame really, because this had the potential to be a really good conversion. And the gameplay speed, as you can see here, I mean in comparison to the arcade, is a lot slower indeed. If anything, it drags slightly, you know, which is a real shame. So as I say, graphically look great, but unfortunately that's where the positives end. So we'll take a bit more look at this, and then we'll see if the Atari ST can do any better than the Commodore Amiga version. Such a shame really, as I say, it looks great, but shame. And now we come to the Atari ST conversion of Sly Spy. Now, soundtrack musically, this is not as good as the Commodore Amiga version which we just looked at. But that aside, right, it looks a much improved version. Graphically, I think the colours are brighter, I think the graphics are sharper, and the gameplay, as you can see already, moves at a better speed than the Amiga. So they're all positives. Although the soundtrack's not good, that aside, this does well there. Overall, looks and plays really well. And unfortunately, as I say, that soundtrack is the only thing really that lets this down. But to be honest, based on the positives graphically and the speed and the gameplay and what have you, that can be forgiven. So yeah, good job here, ST. And now onto the humble Sinclair ZX Spectrum conversion. Now this was released by Ocean, and they used to use Tiertex an awful lot for their conversions, but I'm pleased to say on this outing they used a company called Software Creations, and yeah, thank God really. Actually, and do you know what, right, first impressions here, look at this, it looks alright graphically. It's pretty good really. I mean, considering the sort of the specky's limitations, I know sometimes them colour palettes can be a bit funky with the colour clash and stuff, but to be fair, they didn't do too badly on this. I mean, the sound is very basic, just sort of the sound of the gun there, but the intro music right at the beginning was very good. I didn't include it, but I'd say it was very well done. It plays alright, and all in all, don't get me wrong, it's not the greatest arcade conversion we've ever seen on the Spectrum, but you know something? It's not the worst either. And now the Amstrad CPC conversion. Now, this looks and plays really well, guys, right? I mean, the graphics and the colours are superb on this. It looks amazing, but something is missing. Yes, it is. Let me stop talking for just a moment, and we'll see if you can notice what it is. Are you ready? Let's go. Did you hear it? No? Me neither. There is absolutely no sound on this conversion at all. There's no music, there's no basic sound effects, there is nothing at all, nada. You can't even hear a pin drop in this game, mate. I can only guess that they were saving some money by not doing the sound, the programming, whatever. Maybe they had a deadline to reach and they didn't have time to do the sound. I really do not know, but it is such a shame because just look at it. This looked and played really, really well. Such a shame. But if you know why they didn't include sound, please guys drop in the comments as always, because your knowledge is usually great on stuff like this. Such a shame. It's great to have some sound back on the game. Oh yes, now this is the Commodore 64 arcade conversion of Sly Spy, and it's a very good job on this one as well, you know. Looks good. It's an accurate rendition of the arcade game. Graphically, nicely done, drawn well, plays really well too. No sound effects, but let's be honest, that can be forgiven because, as always, we've got that great classic SID chip banging soundtrack. It's so recognisable, isn't it, when you hear the Commodore 64 music, and when that SID chip was done and used well, my god, it shone, didn't it? Anyway, let's go to my verdicts and let's see which version wins from me out of the 8 bits and of course those 16 bits. And yeah, look forward to reading your comments on this one too.
So there we have it. That was Sly Spy, guys. Now, do you remember that? If so, drop in the comments. Did you own it on any of those systems? The Amiga, the ST, the Commodore 64, the Amstrad, or the humble ZX Spectrum? And what are your memories? Don't already do so, hit subscribe because I appreciate it and it puts a smile on my face. Makes me a happy man. Oh, yes, indeed. Anyway, guys, to my verdicts. Now, if you disagree with me, please drop in the comments, but be pleasant about it. No need to argue, is there? It's only a game after all. Anyway, guys, 16-bit verdict. Now, I'm giving it to the Atari ST. There was only the 2 in it, so obviously the Commodore Amiga comes second for once. Usually the ST is in the second position and the Amiga takes it. But on this run out, guys, although the ST, the soundtrack wasn't as good as the Amiga's, the gameplay and the graphics and stuff was slightly better and it just played better all round. So it's a bit of a rarity, really. The ST has beaten the Amiga. What's that all about? Doesn't happen very often. So on this occasion, well done ST. You pulled out the bag, sir. Well done. And to the 8-bit systems. Them classic systems we remember oh so well. Well, those of a certain age anyway. Yes. We had them many playground wars. Whose computer system was best and why? I mean, for me, in the early days of my schooling, I was a specky man through and through. But then in my later years, I was a Commodore 64 man. So I was lucky enough to get a Commodore 64 at a later stage. So quite often, I didn't know many friends with an Amstrad really at the time. So yeah, I didn't play the Amstrad as much as I would have liked. But anyway, I digress. So in third position, I'm giving it to the ZX Spectrum. Now don't get me wrong, this wasn't a bad conversion. Graphically, it looked quite good for the specky, you know. It played quite well and all in all, it wasn't bad. But it wasn't the best conversion I've ever seen on the Spectrum, but it wasn't certainly the worst either. So all in all, it was a good middle of the road conversion. It did the job and it did it okay, you know. Like I say, it wasn't the best, but it did all right. So although you're in third position, Specky, you can hold your head up on this occasion. You did very, very well. And in second position, I'll give it to the Amstrad CPC. So we know the Commodore 64 has won. But first, before we get onto the C64 and why I chose it, the Amstrad conversion was brilliant. It was so well done. Then graphics and the colours were just lovely, bright and bold. And it was really, really good. The gameplay, it played well. But what was going on with the sound? We had that deathly silence. Yes, we did. But then, it was, you know, the gameplay made up for it along with the graphics. So if anything, you could forgive it. I mean, you could have quite easily have put on the James Bond's greatest hits or something from back in the day, then, or a soundtrack from one of the films, you know, to make up for it, and you'd have probably got quite immersed into it. But all in all, a really, really good conversion on the Amstrad. Just a shame they didn't sort the sound out. If they'd have sorted the sound out, this would have been a clear winner, easily. Commodore 64 version. Obviously, the SID chip strikes again. It produced the sound. Graphically, it was good. Gameplay was decent. It was alright, you know. So, for the reason above the Amstrad, really, it took it because of the sound. But like I say, if the Amstrad had had the sound, it would have taken it quite clearly. Because I do like the Amstrad's colour palette. But on this occasion, Commodore 64, you are the winner, my friend. So there we have it, guys. That was Sly Spy, and we looked at the 16 bits and the 8 bits. Your memories of this game, do you have any at all? Because it was a new one on me, to be fair. My man Alcan out there suggested it in the comments, and I said, I'm going to give that a look, and I did. And I'm pleased I did, so thank you for that, Alcan. Same with you guys. Anyone got any suggestions for future Versus videos? Drop them in the comments, as always. And remember, if you don't subscribe, do so to cheer me up. Not that I need any cheering up. I'm an happy soul, honest. But any comments, most important things of all, your memories of this, drop them in the comments. Anyway, guys, I've been OGDuffy. You have been awesome, as always. I'll see you on the next one. Laters.